I'm Amber Tresca, and this is About IBD. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis as a teen and had J-pouch surgery 10 years later. Now, I help people with Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis understand their disease and feel seen. On About IBD, you'll get real talk on symptoms, treatment, and life with IBD, straight from patients, caregivers, and experts. You'll learn, feel less alone, and even have a laugh along the way. Dr. Jin Lee is the co-founder and CEO of IMIDeology, a virtual and in-person clinical network dedicated to supporting patients with chronic inflammation and conditions such as IBD and lupus. With firsthand experience of the healthcare system as a patient and caregiver, Dr. Lee is a passionate advocate for those living with immune-mediated inflammatory diseases. Dr. Lee has worked across the healthcare ecosystem in pharma, payer, and provider innovation, leading efforts in product development and commercialization. She invests in the future of healthcare as a limited partner in 3 angel funds and serves on multiple startup and nonprofit boards, including past roles with the American Heart Association and the Healthcare Businesswomen's Association. Dr. Lee, welcome to About IBD.
Thank you so much for having me, Amber.
Oh, absolutely. I'm really excited because our topic is managing stress while living with chronic illness. It's a big part of living with an autoimmune condition, and I know that so many people are always looking for help, so I appreciate you giving us some advice today. But first, I want to start by learning a bit more about you. You have an interesting blend of roles. You're a neuropsychologist, an entrepreneur, and inventor. Can you tell me a little bit about your background?
Yeah, sure. I started out always want to be pre-med, but ended up getting a PhD in experimental psychology with a focus on the mind, the body. And then over time, I started working in payer, provider, pharma roles, all under innovation and venture. So I really had the great opportunity to source and also invest and partner with great innovation in the field, whether it be medical devices or digital health tools, and also working with sometimes clinical operations folks in pharma to really help the patients, the doctors, make it easier for everyone to treat chronic illnesses. The moment when it touched my own family, so my husband took 8 years to finally get diagnosed with his chronic pain. That's when I realized I had to do something and how fragmented just our American healthcare system are. So I founded IMIDeology, stands for Immune-Mediated Inflammatory Diseases, the study of, and it's a multidisciplinary care team that brings together pneumatology, GI, mental health, nutrition, all under one roof. My role is really trying to build a solution that will actually make a difference in patients' life for a long, long time.
I love that because, as you said, care gets so fragmented, and oftentimes, especially living with a condition like IBD that affects so many of our body systems, and we're running around to all of these different specialists who don't always talk to one another. And it can really result in you ending up spending so much time managing all of these things. So I love that you are that you have developed this framework to make it easier on patients.
Yeah, and we did that way because I saw it firsthand as a caregiver for my husband who has an autoinflammatory condition. For somebody living with IBD, you have anywhere between 30 to 40% higher chance of developing a pneumatoid issue, a uveitis, which is inflammation in the eye, or it could affect, your skin psoriasis. So a lot of the underlying biology is stemmed from chronic inflammation in the body. So therefore, it could manifest in any organ. So that's why we built our clinic that way, so that patients can go to one-stop shop and get treated as a whole person.
I love it. It sounds fantastic. So one of the things that we're all dealing with is stress. Chronic illnesses are stressful. There's just no getting around it. So I wonder if you could describe what is happening in our brains and our bodies when we're living with the constant stress of a chronic condition.
Yeah, so especially with chronic inflammatory conditions, your body is essentially on fire. When we get a injury, there's acute inflammation such as blisters or little bubbles in our joints and blisters that will typically go away within days. But when your body is under attack, such as IBD, your colons and your intestines is inflamed all the time. Therefore, your body is also producing more cortisol, which is the biological response to that. And you're constantly in this fight and flight mode because your body is attacking itself, which results in a lot of issues. So pain, right? Emotional irregulation, your lacking sleep, especially in IBD, food is a big part. And we know there are some foods that are more inflammatory than others. So it impacts your entire lifestyle, whether it be what you eat, how you move around because it's attacking your joints sometimes, or can you sleep at night because you're in pain. And then lastly is your relationship with the rest of your family and the people you care about because because you're in pain. As you can imagine, it's also hard on the caregivers and everyone around the patient. So that's why another reason why we have mental health specialists and health coaches within our clinic to help patients navigate all these various lifestyle and relationship issues.
Right. Yeah, it really does start to take over all the parts of your life. And I love that you mentioned sleep because the chronic pain affecting your sleep. And then, of course, the next day, not only are you still in pain, but you're also a little cranky. And then you are unable to concentrate very well on whatever you're supposed to be doing that day at work or at school. And it can be really very difficult for the people around you to understand and maybe give you a pass on your cranky days.
Yeah, I love the meme for autoinflammatory conditions, which is I don't fake being sick, I fake being
Yes.
well. Because so much of it is invisible, it also impacts the not only self esteem but also how you think you're going so much, and you are dealing with your condition, but because other people don't see it, you're not getting the same treatment as people who are in wheelchairs. And we talk to a lot of our patients about self advocating is so important, especially living with a invisible disease such as IMIDs.
Right. Absolutely. It's just one more thing to deal with. And we know that the stress, it's there. We have to manage it somehow. But I think a lot of people don't even know where to start, maybe even especially at the beginning of their journey or during a flare up. So I wonder, are there any stress management strategies that, in your experience, you have found to be more helpful for chronic illness patients?
Yeah, certainly. We're actually running a pilot right now. So if anyone want to join, um, is for people who have chronic pain. We will send you a wearable, match you with a health coach to teach you these 3 to 5 minute exercises that you can do daily with very little effort to manage your stress so that you can, I won't say prevent, but definitely
Yeah.
reduce the number of flares that you might experience. And these mini exercises is stemmed from 3 pillars. One is sleep. So we actually ask folks to uh, monitor their sleep through their
Hmm.
wearable, and then our health coach will talk to the patient. The second is gentle and consistent movement, such as walking, stretching, or Tai Chi to keep the body moving without triggering. And this is especially for anyone who also have joint issues. Movement is so important. In our clinic, we say motion is lotion because it really, really helps. Not only with the joints, but also your stress
Yeah.
level. And then thirdly is doing these mindfulness relaxation techniques or deep breathing that takes 3 to 5 minutes that the aim is to calm down the nervous system daily. And the goal isn't to eliminate all stress, but it is to train the body to recover more quickly and from a flare, and also how to manage stress, because stress is inevitable as humans. But how we deal with it, we can learn and make it into a habit. So please join our pilot. It's free. We're gonna send you a wearable. You get to keep it in the end, and then you get to contribute to science.
Wow.
As well.
That's amazing. I know there's a lot of talk about wearables lately, so it's really interesting.
Yeah. We incorporated that because health coaching, we want it to be useful. And the only way that we can do that is incorporating the data that we gather from the wearable. So it's super easy. We don't require the patients to do much logging, so that our coaches can see it right away and help pinpoint, the real reason why you haven't got out of the bed and go out to walk.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And I agree that the things that you're hitting on are the things that, I mean, I personally have also found to be impactful. If I don't get out for a walk every day, then I'm going to be a much less happier person.
Yeah, I think in England and some part of country, right, doctors actually prescribe walks into nature as prescriptions, because it's a lot about the fresh air, the greenery, and of course the motion as well. Really helps.
Yeah, for sure. Coming up, easy but effective stress management techniques. Dr. Lee, in talking about research, I'm wondering if you can tell us from your experience what kind of differences you see between what research is telling you, what patients maybe would find helpful in managing stress, and then what's actually happening in real life for patients.
Yeah, that's a lot. One question.
Yeah.
Um, I have a PhD. I tell people I have a PhD. I don't have an MD. I'm not a doctor. But what I can tell you is the gold standard for research is randomized controlled trials. So RCT. These are typically very regimented, following specific protocol. Patients get a lot of help, whether it be through nurses, through doctors, or research associates, to make sure things are happening in a specific environment, with specific equipment. But real life, as we know, is very messy, right? Like patients are juggling jobs, family, pain, fatigue. Maybe I missed my sleep last night because I had a flare, or endless medical appointments. So for when the research says, do 20 minutes of walk a day, or like 8 minutes of yoga a day so you can feel less stressful, that we understand in my clinic that may not happen every day for certain patients, because we understand real life is very messy. Things happen. We get it. Our goal in our clinic is how to teach our patients to make these good tips into habits, so that when you're over your bad days, when you're feeling a little bit better, you go back to the habit of doing, breathing while I'm driving. That's actually what I do.
Oh, wow.
So I actually do a mini breathing exercise when I drive, because that's the moment I'm just sitting there at the red light, right, for a few seconds. So might as well take in a couple of long breaths. And we know from research that 3 breaths is all it takes to sometimes reset your nervous system. So taking these small, consistent steps is our goal for our patients. And we think they are far more powerful than the big plans and regimented protocols that a lot of RCT requires.
Yeah. My physical therapist told me that there's an app that is developed. And so she sends me exercises through the app, which I love. But then I started to feel a little bit like, are you seeing the days that I'm doing them versus the days that I'm not? And it concerned me a little bit. I want to be a good patient. And she said much the same thing to me. She said, look, they're going to help you if you do them, but I get that there's some days that it's just not going to happen. So I'm not going to beat you up if
Yeah,
you're not doing it every day. And that really made me feel so much better about it. And just doing the best that I can do is where she's trying to help me get to. And it's not necessarily
exactly.
that you have to do all of these specific things every day or you're never going to improve. So I think that's helpful for patients to know.
Exactly. Yeah, and because flares are so unpredictable, right? Especially if you're living with IBD, we tell our patients, do like you say, do the best you can, and do when you can, and keep the ones that's helpful to you, and forget about the rest. Because a lot of people give you tips, but not all of them are helpful. We get that.
Yes, 100% true. Yeah. And because it's overwhelming. And so that leads me to my next question. For people who are feeling overwhelmed, is there a place where they can get started with lowering stress? I think you gave an idea already of maybe squeezing in some deep breaths while you're driving, or maybe at some other lull in your day. Any other good tips?
Yeah, the small tips that I personally do is, wish I would do more of, is first thing when you wake up, like, don't grab your phone right away. Really just sit or lie down and take 3 slow, deep
Mm,
breaths. Think about what's your priority of the day. Sometimes it could be my priority is to get off the bed because you're in so much
yeah.
pain. Other times it could be, I'm going to drop off my kids, do a birthday party, whatever your energy level allows you to do that day. The second thing we talk a little bit about is going outside for 5 minutes of fresh air. It would be awesome if you can also walk during that 5 minutes so your joints can have some gentle exercise or lotion going in. Um, and then lastly is before going to bed, write down one thing that you're grateful for. And that alone will calm down your nervous system. Pick something that you can do even on your worst days. I'm just giving some tips. Over time, that one habit becomes the foundation for a habit, and that's what we want for our patients. It's that habit forming and sticking with what works for you when you have the time for it. And over time, you will develop muscle memory. You will feel like, oh my God, I forgot my meditation in the morning. Something's off. And we typically find if you can consistently keep it up for about 6 weeks, that's when uh, it becomes a habit.
Yeah, I love that these are also really so bite-sized. A lot of times there's advice that,
Yes.
think of 3 things you're grateful for. Well, I don't know about that, but everybody can do one,
One,
right? So,
yes.
yeah, so keep it simple, keep it small. And I think
Mhm.
it's so interesting that even these small things are impactful over time. I tend to feel like, well, if I'm not, writing down 5 things I'm grateful for and going for a long half an hour walk every day, that none of this is helpful. But that's not true. We can do these small things as well.
Exactly. It's do what your body tells you and do what's right for you. But do
Hmm.
something. Because doing something is better than in
Hmm.
pain. Is better than lying there in one space and letting your mind wander.
Right. Agree 100%. All right. So let's move on to the upcoming Bridging Autoimmunity Patient Forum that I'll be at, that you're hosting. It's taking place at Mercy University in Dobbs Ferry, New York on September 13th, which is a Saturday. Dr. Lee, what can patients expect if they come to this event in person or virtually?
Yeah, first of all, you're going to hear amazing host Amber talk about her experience, along with many other patients, nonprofit advocates, medical experts, including GI doctors, rheumatologists, mental health specialists, registered dietitians there. We also going to have PT, physical therapy, leading free workshops. Patients can sign up one-on-one with our mental health specialists for free advice for 15 minutes. It's going to be very educational, but also very fun. And the fun comes in when we also have patients singing, dancing, because the message is you're more than just being a patient. You have many talents. You have done many things. We want this forum to be for the patients, representing from all different autoimmune diseases. So it's bringing together, rheumatology, GI, mental health, diet, lifestyle coaching, all in one place. And we want it to be super affordable. There's if you go to our link where Amber will put in captions, there's also a discount code. And then at the summit, we're actually going to announce two important launch. One of which is a autoimmune patient handbook, which Amber is also a chapter author of. And the other launch we're going to talk about is a free, super easy symptom gathering chatbot for our patients to go into and dragging down your symptoms. And then it will incorporate a lot of the simple techniques that we talked about on daily basis to help you de-stress and hopefully reduce the number of flares.
I love all of this. I can't wait to go to this event. I mean, it just sounds amazing. And I've never been to anything like this before. And I've been to a lot of events. So it's really, you're creating something new. I'm really excited about it.
Thank you. Yeah, we started doing this because our patients were asking for it. They really want an in-person experience that's not only educational, but fun. And the other thing I mentioned that I forgot about fun is raffles. We also have raffles in the end. So definitely stay throughout the day. There's going to be food, great company, great experts, and performances. We really want it to be by patients for patients. So we have a lot of patients who help us organize this event. So it's one day. Hopefully, we can see you there.
It's going to be great. I cannot wait for it, and I can't wait to meet all of the patients that I've been working with in planning this and then in writing a chapter of the book that's going to be available, and in meeting people from different disease spaces as well, because even though we're dealing with different conditions, a lot of us have a lot of the same experiences. And I think we can learn from one another in that way. So it's really going to be excellent.
Exactly.
Dr. Lee, tell me more also about IMIDeology and what conditions you treat, and then maybe a little bit about what patients can expect during a visit.
Yeah. As in our name, we specialize in immune-mediated inflammatory diseases, hence IMID. So these are conditions like lupus, IBD, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, and more. What's different about immunology is our team-based approach. The fact that we have three pneumologists, one GI doctor, we have a mental health specialist, registered dietitians, as well as health coaching, all communicating with each other to make sure that nothing is missed for our patients. Because we understand that for autoinflammatory conditions, once you have one, you have a very high chance of getting another one sometime in the course of your disease journey. And we understand that this is a chronic illness. Real life is messy. So when patients come to our clinic, they can expect a very warm, compassionate environment where we want to be your care partner throughout your life.
Yeah.
Our office accepts 20 different insurance in New York State. So please give us a call, because we treat patients like the whole person, not just another organ system. Hence our multidisciplinary care approach.
I love that, because these diseases, at least I can speak for IBD, it doesn't just affect your GI tract anyway. It's affecting all of these other things as well as your whole life. Exactly. And your mental health. And so siloing everything is a problem. And I think it's how things sometimes get missed as well.
Exactly.
So I will put all the information about the things that we have discussed in the show notes. I'll also put it on my website on aboutibd.com. So don't fret, anyone. You'll be able to find all of this information. But Dr. Lee, can you give us social media and places that folks can find IMIDeology online?
Yeah, you can learn more about us at www.IMIDeology, so IMIDeology.com. We're also on social media, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, where we share resources and updates about events like the patient forum that we mentioned, book launches like the one that Amber co-authored. And if you are living with a chronic autoinflammatory condition, we would love to have the opportunity to be your care partner. So give us a call.
I love it. I can't wait to get all of this information in front of more people and hopefully get some folks either coming to the patient event in person or coming virtually, because it just sounds like a great day. And I am loving how you're helping patients be cared for in a whole person kind of way. And I'm so grateful that you reached out to me. I think it was on LinkedIn, and that we got connected so that we could cook up all of these things together, because it's been really fantastic. So, and then also thank you, Dr. Lee, for coming, taking some time to come on the show today and tell us all about these great things and in discussing stress management and how people can get started in really small bite-sized ways, but they will have huge impacts on your stress levels, and they're things that you can probably incorporate almost every day. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank you, Amber, for doing this, and thank you for having me on your show.
Absolutely. Hey, super listener. Check the show notes to find links and information about the topics discussed in this episode. Plus, get a written transcript and much more on my website, aboutibd.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider sharing it with someone else or leaving a rating in your podcast app. Reviews and ratings help me grow this show and bring you more great content. Thanks for listening. And remember, until next time, I want you to know more about IBD. About IBD is a production of Mal & Tel Enterprises. It is edited, written, produced, and directed by me, Amber Tresca. Mix and sound design is by Mac Cooney. Theme music is from Cooney Studio.